Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back, you guys.
Welcome to the B-List.
We are the B-List.
I'm Courtney.
I'm Tara.
And today we're going to talk about one of the greatest slashers of all time. One of the...
That is a statement that you made.
Right. True or false?
Asterisk. This is Courtney's opinion.
This is only my opinion. It does not reflect the views of this podcast.
It does not reflect of this podcaster particularly.
Right.
Today we're talking about the Slumber Party Massacre.
The Slumber Party Massacre, released in 1982.
The year I was born, you guys. So.
Yeah. And you know what? As a younger person watching this movie, I used to think it was a pretty okay movie, but going back to see it now...
But I feel that's that way for a lot of movies that we liked when we were kids.
I know.
When I watch them now, I'm like, oh, God.
They just didn't hold up like we wanted them to.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't think they were meant to last. They weren't meant to be iconic, I don't think.
No. Well...
It's not Casablanca, you know?
No, not by any means. Not by any means.
It's not Schindler's List.
No, not even close. The soundtrack that was written on a Casio keyboard is close to the soundtrack from Schindler's List.
Ah, yes. If you play it side by side,
same thing. You couldn't tell the difference between it. This movie was it's got a runtime of about an hour and 17 minutes, so it's a typical slasher
You know,
flick.
that's the thing I super miss about movies. I'm just going to say it as someone who is super old and my attention span is about this long. Now, movies are like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. I don't have the attention span for that. I don't care. I just don't care.
And from what I understand, it was actually a little bit longer, but of course, a lot of it hit the cutting room floor. So
I would like to see the footage that got cut.
I wonder if it's out there somewhere, maybe on a DVD somewhere.
Probably find it.
It was directed by Amy Holden Jones, who actually went on to do a few bigger movies. She did Love Letters, Made to Order.
Yeah, I saw that. She was... Oh, you know what? I did have my paper. I left it in my folder.
Oh.
I didn't do my
That's
homework,
okay.
you guys. I did my homework, but the dog ate it.
Yeah, I got my homework right here. She also...
I remember that because I used to love the movie Made to Order.
Yeah.
With Ali Sheedy.
Yeah, and she was also a writer on other films, like Mystic Pizza, all the Beethoven films.
Mystic Pizza.
Yeah, right? All the Beethoven, you remember the dog,
yes,
St. Bernard?
Yes.
She did the Beethoven films, Indecent Proposal. She had writing credits on, like, The Relic.
It's nice to see when we watch these movies and, like, you see that, like, the people who made them or the actors or whatever, like, progressed in their career.
Yeah.
And didn't, like...
I believe this was her first directorial debut as well.
Well, you gotta get your feet wet somehow.
And she didn't direct a whole lot after that. She directed, like I said, Love Letters, Made to Order, The Rich Man's Wife. And I think that's really all notable that she directed.
Yeah.
But her writing, she went a little bit further. She also co-wrote this movie with Rita Mae Brown.
You know what's crazy is that it's very, like, female-run movie, but it's a lot of, like, unnecessary nudity.
Yeah, and
I feel like they just knew. They probably just knew that, like, this is what people want.
She got some flack for that, for being a female director that still was, like, doing
into the
exploitation flicks.
But, like, do you want your movie made or not? Like, now we could, like, stand on that hill and, like, fight it. But, like,
right.
I'm sure back in the 80s, it's like, listen, broad, do you want your movie made or not?
Especially, I mean, it even to this day is still kind of a male-dominated industry.
Oh,
but
for
back
sure.
then, they sat around with their cigars and was like, now see here.
More tits, please.
We need more boobies.
Yeah.
So I had a budget of only $220,000.
Yeah.
But the box office pulled in $3.6 million. So it made a profit.
They made a profit.
They got 2 more sequels out of it.
That's true.
So if you pull a profit, they like it. It was produced by Santa Fe Productions, who didn't do a lot.
Yeah.
But they did, like, documentaries and self-help series, most notably, like, the Brain Fitness series.
Maybe they did this movie and they're like, you know what, we got to get out of this business. We're not made for this.
Yeah, they did a Brain Fitness series that explored the human mind and how advancements are helping to improve performance. So,
all right.
I'm going to tell you right now, the Slumber Party Massacre was not part of this brain fitness series.
This is not brain fitness. This is like you can put your brain on autopilot.
Yeah.
And just kind of.
Yeah. Now, this movie also had a really kind of big cast because, it's centered around a party. So
yeah, it's a slumber party. So
slumber party. But I'm only going to touch on the girls in the slumber party. And that included Michelle Michaels as Trish, Robin Still as Valerie.
Michelle Michaels, I think, is the only one who went on to do like a lot of other stuff because I recognized her face.
There were a couple of them went on to be Scream Queens and other things.
Yeah.
But nothing really all that notable. Deborah DeLiso played Kim. Andre, I guess it's Honore or Honor. I'm horrible with these names. I'm so sorry if this is you,
Lady,
Andre.
if you're out there, just know that we're trying.
It's either Andre or Honore, something. I don't know. She plays Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
And then we got Gina Smika Hunter, who played Diane. Jennifer Myers, who played Courtney. Brink Stevens, who played Linda. Pamela Roylance, who played Coach Jana. And Michael Viella, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He plays Russ Thorne, who I will just, from here on, I'm going to call him Killer Man because,
the killer. Jean Jacket Killer Man.
Jean Jacket Killer Man. And we'll get into this right now.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so it opens on a kid delivering some papers. Paperboy action. And you see on the cover of the paper that it says, Mass Murderer of 5, Russ Thorne escapes. Escapes prison, I'm assuming. Mental asylum, possibly. We just know he's jail
escaped.
Waiting on trial, who knows? Like, he's a murderer and now he's escaped.
How many he murdered? We don't know at this point. We just know.
5.
Did it say that in the
Murder of 5?
Oh, okay. Murder of 5.
Because I pay attention.
She pays attention to these things.
Sometimes.
All I saw was mass murderer escapes.
And it takes so long. Like when I do my notes, I'm like pausing every 5 seconds.
I do that too, though.
Yeah,
I do that too, and sometimes I have to
Which is like people will want to watch the movie with me while I'm taking my notes. I'm like, I wish you wouldn't because you're not going to enjoy it.
That's what I'm always telling the boys. They're like, we'll watch that with you. And I was like, I pause it every 5 minutes to write down
every 5 seconds I'm pausing it.
So we open on, after this paper is delivered, we open on Trish.
She wakes
up. It's a sunny day.
She's picking out her clothes for the
radio
day.
alarm is on.
And it's on the floor. Like, that's so, like, put it on the desk.
Yeah.
Why is it on the floor?
Yeah.
You're just going to, like, let me turn off
Maybe
the
it
alarm.
forces her to get up. Because you know how hard it is for teenagers to wake up. Maybe it forces her to, like,
I guess. I don't
move.
know. And I'm like, my note is 5 seconds into this movie and we have nudity already. Because
she
is
immediately.
Full frontal.
Bare boobies at literally.
Bare boobs out.
It was at literally the 2-minute mark. 2 minutes. Yeah. And I wrote down, why is it so acceptable in these movies to over-sexualize teenage girls like this?
And you could have just, like, fast forward this whole part and went to the next scene. We would know that she had put clothes on.
Yeah. She's in different clothes. She was in pajamas.
I'm
now
gonna
she's
trust
in a dress.
Yes, I'm gonna trust that she didn't didn't magically happen.
Right. But that's how they got ticket sales.
They always did that. Like, it's always like these people in these movies change tits to the camera, like,
all the time.
She's like bagging up a bunch of her stuff.
Yeah, she starts to clear away some, and I guess it's, I don't know, symbolic of maybe she's trying to leave her childhood behind at this point.
Yeah, because it's a lot of toys and like Barbies and like, stuffed animals.
And she throws a Barbie
in a paper bag.
Yeah, in a paper bag.
Who has paper bags? But I guess back then you did.
Well, I still get paper bags from Aldi.
I mean, yeah, some places they have paper bags.
And I keep those because they're valuable. I can use those paper bags to throw away my stuffed animals.
That's when you're packing up your childhood.
When I pack up my childhood.
So she's like saying goodbye to her parents because her parents are going out of town.
Again,
apparently these parents don't know the parents from the gate because like, they would know, don't go out of town.
Don't go out of town.
Your house is going to be destroyed.
This is why my parents never left me alone. Like, my parents, if they went anywhere, we were going with them because I was like way, way later in life before they left me at home alone.
I mean, yeah.
To go anywhere.
But yeah, and they say Mr. Content, the neighbor, Mr. Content, is it Content?
I think it's content.
Whatever it is.
He's
a creeper, and he's going to be watching out for her. This
was-
guy gives the creepiest vibes. I thought he was going to be the
I
bad
thought
guy.
he was going to be the killer.
I thought he was going to be the
because
killer.
he's just standing over to the side, just like, hey, I'm going to be watching you.
I'll be watching over you.
And they're like, oh, he's going to be watching you, so
he's
don't
problematic. He does several things in this movie that I'm not cool with.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the man you left in charge of watching your daughter?
Right.
Not cool.
Right.
But she takes the paper bag and she throws it out, and a hand that you don't see the face
off screen
hand reaches out and grabs the Barbie face unseen
as Trish, I guess, is walking to school.
Yeah, she didn't see.
She doesn't see this happen.
Creeper.
And I assumed at that point,
Content.
I thought it was the neighbor.
I thought it was Mr. Content.
Because that's the only man besides Dad that we've seen at this point. So,
I was like, that son of a bitch is stealing out of her trash.
Yeah. And so she goes off to school, cut to two boys that I don't think that I ever grabbed their character names.
Nope.
Because they don't really say them a whole lot.
I think I have it later on.
I think it was was it Neil and somebody?
Neil and Greg? I want to say Greg. I don't think it might be Greg. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll
two
get
boys.
To it. But anyway, two teenage boys are discussing who they're going to ask out.
Talking about girls. And then they start staring at this poor, I guess she's a phone...
She's a phone repair lady, and she's hot.
Staring at her ass.
Yeah.
And they're trying to hit on her.
Yeah.
You're teenage boys.
What did they ask? Well, first of all, I'm going to call shenanigans because this woman is way too young, hot.
She's young and hot. I thought she was like, I'm like, why are they letting a teenager up on that ladder?
I thought she was one of the students.
And then she's got like does she have a hat or like a shirt or something?
She's got like a
jumpsuit
uniform.
I'm like, they're just letting teenagers work on the phone lines here?
And they ask her, oh, hey, you know what this, you ever want to date a younger man? You know what they say about younger men? Try it and you'll like it. Huh?
I'm sold.
No, I will not.
Have done and absolutely not.
And she, of course, rejects them.
Yeah.
But as they're walking away from her rejection, she is pulled into her work van.
Yeah, the same unknown hand grabs her. And, like, snatches her into the van. And she's banging on the window.
Screaming, and the boys don't hear her.
How loud is this parking lot?
I don't... They're teenage boys. They're not paying attention to anything.
Unless her boobs are out. Maybe she should flash them.
She should have been one of... Yeah.
People will notice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
and then she just gets sawed to death or whatever.
He grabs that drill. There's
that drill.
I guess this is where the killer gets his weapon. Because he picks up a drill off the floor of her work van.
And he is nothing if not consistent. Because he loves this drill.
He loves this drill.
This drill must have been fully charged. He probably has the extra battery, like, in his pocket or something. Yeah. Because that was my one complaint through the whole movie is, like, it's not a plug-in drill. It doesn't plug in.
Yeah.
This drill's got some battery life. This should be a commercial
and
for whatever
quick,
battery it is.
Too.
Yes.
Like, every drill I've ever had is like, nah, it takes a minute. Well, but he's like...
Especially, like, if the battery starts to run out, you're just like...
Yeah.
And
so he must have had some extra battery.
Well, because he had time. So he probably, like, killed this lady, and then he plugged it in and let it charge. He's, like, going to 7-Eleven. He's getting a Slurpee. He's, like...
Sitting by the payphones.
Killing some time. So fast forward to PE, and all these girls are wearing these, like, hoochie daddy shorts. And I didn't want to be one of those people, but you can see every panty line and every shirt tuck in.
Everything.
You can see the bottom of all of their shirts. These shorts are so tight and so short.
Yeah.
You can see everything.
All of it.
Everything.
All of it. And they're playing basketball very badly.
And these boys are just watching and ogling them, and they're talking about the new girl.
Yeah, the new girl, and she's a nice piece.
And she's good at basketball. How dare she? We will find out later, because the girls hate her because she's good at stuff. Mm-hmm. Because women hate other women.
Yeah. And so they go shower up after this game.
They're in the shower, and one girl comments to another girl, I think your tits are getting bigger.
I think your tits are getting bigger.
Never in my life did I ever. And I went to, so a little backstory on me, I was in dance, and I was in dance with a girl. She was a foreign exchange student from Germany. Mm-hmm. Can't remember her name. Hi, if you're watching. And, we had, like, these black leotards and, like, the leggings and the whole thing, like, we would get dressed up in. And she would always just, it was like she was a girl from an 80s movie. She would just, like, tits out every time she would.
Yeah.
We're all, like, facing the wall and trying to, like, get undressed.
Yeah.
And she's just, like, boobs
They
out.
don't have the same
And we're
stigma.
like, hey, so in America, we're ashamed of our bodies.
Yeah.
So maybe
Cover that up.
Maybe try that.
Yeah, right.
Put your tits away.
Right. I mean, so much gratuitous nudity. And
That's the only thing that came close to, oh my God, your tits are getting bigger. Because I don't think anyone ever said anything.
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
ever.
And this is again, you get
I
to
was like,
see,
casual lady locker room talk.
you know.
And they start washing themselves with what is Johnson & Johnson's baby wash, and then everyone else is sharing 1 bar of soap. They keep passing around this one bar of soap. It's got 90 girls, 80s bush on it,
Right.
and they're just passing it around.
Pick that pube off of it.
Just pick the pubes off and keep moving. It's disgusting. Disgusting.
So-
And they're all talking about a party.
They're talking about this party, and they're getting together. I guess that the friends have drifted apart, so that this is like old times.
They're like, let's get back together.
Let's get
and
back
have a good-"
together.
And they're like, hey, should we invite the new girl, Valerie, to the party? And the mean girl, Diane, isn't sure if they should have her because she drinks too much milk.
She drinks too much milk, and she's too pretty, and her
She's too
eyeliner
pretty.
is too
Her
perfect.
eyeliner's too perfect. She's good at sports.
Yeah. And Valerie hears
Like,
all
who
of
does
this.
she think she is?
Yeah.
Walking in here being good at things and
Yeah.
caring about her hygiene.
Yeah. Her and did
What a
we
bitch.
mention her name's Valerie?
Yeah, her
Valerie,
name is
the new girl.
Valerie.
And she hears it all, so her feelings are hurt because she drinks too much milk.
And then Trish invites her, but Valerie's feelings are hurt.
So
Because
she
she overheard
declines.
everything.
Yeah.
Because Diane's being a bitch about it.
Right.
And fast forward to the van, you see a guy in a van being creepy and watching kids. And
He
the dead
watches
phone
the-
tech is just in the dumpster.
Yeah. Yeah, they walk right past her too.
Right past her.
They walk right past her in the dumpster, and he's creepily
No one was
watching.
paying attention to nothing.
So
in
yeah,
the
the
80s.
girls are all leaving and going home. They're gonna go get ready for this slumber party, but Linda realizes that she forgot a book in her locker, so she has to go back to the locker
And
room
then the
get
coach
it.
passes by the van, but it's empty.
Yeah,
So
or he's hiding or something. He's not in the driver's seat.
he's
where
not
he
in the
was.
driver's seat.
Yeah,
But
he's
we're
not
about
there.
to find out where he is because
Right. So Linda goes back in, and
she's in
then
the locker room. She hears a noise.
Yeah, and the coach warns her they're about to lock up the school, so make sure you're quick. Hurry and get in there quick. And so she's in there.
And she was not lying because all those doors are locked.
All the doors were locked, and they were chained.
Chained and locked.
So I'm assuming that Mr. Killerman did that himself because, from what I understand, it's against the law to chain school doors from the inside.
But
because,
was it that back then?
But no, even back then, because I had to look it up, and they were like, no, it's been a law for a while. You can't chain the doors because if anybody's
There's a
working
fire
late
or
or anything,
something,
and there's
yeah.
a fire, you can't get out.
No, that makes sense.
But yeah, so I'm assuming Killerman chained her in there.
Tries all the doors, but then the guy is behind her and he's chasing her with his drill.
Right, he injures her. He pops up. He's great at just popping up behind people.
He
all
really
the time.
is, yeah. He's
and he injures
stealthy.
her, and he gets her in the arm real bad. I mean,
Real
gashes
bad.
her real bad.
So she goes and she's hiding in the showers and she's bleeding and the blood trail leads him right to her because it's going underneath the door.
Yeah, she's hiding under a counter.
Yeah.
And behind a door. I guess it's to like an equipment room or something like that. And she sees she's bleeding, so she grabs a towel and is trying to sop it up, but it's too late. It's already like going out the door.
Yeah.
And he sees the blood pooling underneath the door.
And he drills like right through the door.
He drills through the door and he gets to her, and then she's killed off
Yep.
screen. You don't
Rest
get
in
to
peace,
see.
Linda.
Yeah, you don't get to see the first true kill here
Nope. And he runs back to the van with the drill.
with the drill. And they never talk about finding her or anything. I guess
Nope.
that she
No
was
one
just
gives a
there
shit
all
about
weekend.
Linda. No one cares.
Yeah.
See her on Monday.
She was wanting to go to the party, but she mentioned that her parents weren't going to let her go to the party.
Right.
So they just assume that she's at home studying or
Don't
whatever.
assume. Maybe call and make sure your friends are okay.
Make sure you check on your friends.
So fast forward, Trish is getting dropped off by motorcycle boyfriend.
There's just a guy on a motorcycle. We never see him again. He's got a mustache. He looks like Tom Selleck.
Maybe they were going to give him a role, and they're like, you know what, this asshole can't.
Probably got cut from
he can't
it.
learn his lines.
But she kisses him and says thanks for the ride,
Thanks
and she
for the
gets
ride.
home. And then that's whenever you learn that Valerie, the new girl, lives next door
Yeah.
or whatever to Trish. And so, which is so sad because
Like, you're not going to invite her, and she's right next door watching you party?
She's right next door, yeah.
I would not be surprised if she turned out to be the killer.
Right.
It serves you right for being rude.
Right, exactly.
Fast forward to the coach that's getting home. What's her name? Coach
Jana,
Coach
I think.
Jana.
I just call her Coach.
And she gets home, and the super is drilling through the door because she's put in a peephole. And I will say it is very 2024 because they have a lesbian super who's put in the...
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. I said, you can tell this was kind of a lady director and writer.
I love so many women in the workplace.
Yeah, all the important things are being handled by the ladies.
The lady phone worker. Mm-hmm. We've got, we got the lady apartment maintenance lady.
Handy lady. Mm-hmm. And then, so we cut to Trish at home. And she's on the phone with Diane.
Well, I said she decides to turn on every lamp in the fucking house and play the piano.
Right. And she discovers that while she's on the phone with Diane, she discovers that the door is open.
And she hears footsteps.
Right. She goes and closes the door. She plays the piano, which is super out of tune, but it may be the warble from the film. Because the film's so old whenever they rip these digital copies off of it.
Cordy's a musician.
So it was like
I'm not, and I didn't.
It was like it was driving me crazy. I was like, somebody tune that piano. But she stops playing when she hears the footsteps.
She hears
in the
footsteps,
house.
and it turns out it's the creepy ass neighbor.
Creepy neighbor is creeping around.
He's just checking the house. I don't like him. He snuck into the house.
Well, the door was open.
Well, and he was like waiting to see if she was going to shower or something.
Well, yeah, because she spends a lot of time shirtless in this movie.
Yeah.
So.
He probably saw out her window earlier that morning that she
probably because she doesn't hide anything. But so he's all like he's all like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. The door was open.
Immediately, I would have called my parents and been like, this guy snuck into the house.
Yeah, he snuck into the house. He didn't knock or anything or yell out or anything. And so now she's kind of anxious because she's startled. Yeah. And he's like, well, I'll stay with you until your friends get here.
No, I'm good.
But
all set.
He hangs around.
He hangs around.
She makes some coffee, and they're drinking coffee in the kitchen.
As you do with your teenage neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at back to the coach's house, or coach's apartment, she's drinking wine and shredding cheese, as one does. I said, it's the OG girl dinner up in here.
OG girl dinner.
And then she grabs a thing of hot sauce, and it breaks her wine glass. I was like, was she really just about to eat a pile of cheese with hot sauce?
Boy, I don't know. That's kind of similar how I made nachos. Grate some cheese, put it in the microwave.
No, it's just so funny because that's all that was on the counter was like shredding cheese and a glass of wine and this like Texas Pete's or whatever.
Yeah, whatever she has. And so she knocks her wine glass over and it shatters.
And she hears something. And so she carries this piece of glass like as a weapon. And she opens the closet and out pops Muffin, her cat. Her cat that's been locked in the closet for I don't know how long.
And she just got home from work. I'm so sorry.
Sorry that I locked you up in the closet.
And so, but there were so many of these little filler scenes.
Like fake jump scare.
Every jump scare is mainly a fake jump scare except for maybe like 2 or 3.
Right.
And there's like a dozen more that are always just a cat or just the neighbor or just it's a lot. It's a lie. And so anyway, I don't know, for whatever reason we needed to know that the coach was grating cheese
and that she has a cat.
And the cat
never makes another appearance. We never see the cat again.
Never see the cat anyway.
So then the boys are walking their bikes home or wherever they're walking and they're like, "Hey, let's go scare the girls. They're having a slumber party." Mm-hmm. And they pass by the van.
Mhm. Yeah, the van's there.
And I like paying attention to the fucking van that's been there for forever.
And one of the boys is like, maybe we shouldn't go scare them. And the other one's like, come on, you know how girls like to scream.
That kid, if he didn't get murdered in this movie, he grows up to be a rapist, probably.
Probably.
You know how girls like to squirm and scream and be uncomfortable? Girls love being uncomfortable.
Yeah, they love it. They want to be terrified.
I love being terrified. It's my favorite thing.
So everyone starts showing up to the slumber party.
Yeah, they all get to the slumber party, and the murderer is very clearly hiding in the bushes, not very well.
Yeah, not very well, but
he's not even tucked away. He's just like the bush. It's like the opposite of the Homer Simpson.
Right, right.
He's like coming out of the bush.
Right,
he's like
right.
Head first. Yeah. So, and the girls are there to party, so they bring beer and weed, and it's called Maui Wowie.
Maui Wowie. And I like how she holds up a 6-pack of beer and is like, look what I scored. And it's
look what I scored.
6 beers? There's 6 of you there.
We're going to have one beer.
You're going to have a beer and go
and
sleep.
one smart toke of the Maui Wowie, and we're all going to go to bed.
And then we're out.
But the adult is still there. Mr. Content is still
there.
there.
Yeah, Trish is like trying to get him to shut up.
But he's not a regular adult. He's a cool adult. And he says
cool.
He's not going to tell. Again, this is the man you left in charge of your daughter.
Uh-huh.
Letting them drink beer. Smokes
weed.
The weeds.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like, I won't tell if you don't tell your parents that I scared you to death.
To which I gather round, children, because if an adult is telling you not to tell...
Yeah.
Always tell.
Always tell. So, now we cut to Valerie.
Valerie making Kool-Aid with the shit ton of sugar.
She pours an entire bag of sugar into this little pitcher.
It was the 80s.
And she's also babysitting.
And she's watching her little sister.
Who coincidentally is
whose name is Courtney.
Named Courtney.
We're never going to find a movie with my name in it.
Oh, yeah, we will. I'll look for it. And so they get...
Thanks a lot, Mom and Dad. I could have been named Nikki. They wanted to name me Nikki, and they didn't.
No, damn
Fine,
it.
whatever.
Damn it.
So the Slumber Party girls are smoking weed, and they're all brushing their hair and talking about blowjobs.
Yeah.
As one does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And... it keeps cutting back between the Slumber Party and then Valerie and her sister.
Yeah. And Valerie keeps looking out the window, like, so forward and looking at the party.
Yeah, she's just hanging out with her stupid little sister.
She wanted to go.
Yeah, she wanted to go.
But she's just hanging out, babysitting her sister. And her sister's supposed to be like, I don't know, 13, 14 years old.
No, that's a legitimate 30-year-old woman.
She was quite a bit older.
They gave her like little half piggies or whatever, like little halfsy pigtail things, but she's for sure an adult.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're like reading magazines, and she hears a noise, and so she goes outside, and it's like a cat or something. It's like another...
The dog had knocked over the trash, supposedly.
Over the trash, yeah.
So she's cleaning up things.
And then her sister is snooping in her room while she's outside and finds her Playgirl magazine, and I paused it because it had Sylvester Stallone on the cover.
Sly Stallone right
Just
there.
so you guys know, Sly Stallone was in an adult film called The Italian
Stallion.
So look that up on your own time. Okay, girl, I see you. You are a pervert after my own heart. So, So the boys are looking through the window at the slumber party. And the girls literally all just get naked in the living room.
Yeah.
They're all changing into their jammies.
29 minutes in, if you want to see it.
Yep. Just everyone is
They're
nude.
just changing into their pajamas in the living room, totally nude in front of each other, and the boys are outside, and they're like, oh, we died.
Yeah.
We died and gone to heaven.
I said, never in my life have I been at a slumber party and we just all get butt naked.
Right. I was creeping off to the bathroom and getting
go to the bathroom,
PJs.
or like we'll change, but like you still have your bra on. You
right.
Still have, like, and then you like do that awkward thing that you undo your bra and feed it out the arm
or out the sleeve. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not just like getting. I hate to spoiler alert, guys.
Right.
Like, we're not, we don't do that at summer parties. We also don't practice making out or any of that stuff.
Right. And then the girls decide to order a pizza and start a fire. But
did you notice that while the boys are like being creepers, the window is open?
Yeah.
They're talking about the girls. Their girls are from here.
Hey,
from here to our monitor.
Right.
And no one hears anything?
No one hears a thing. They're even fine, like reaching out and like dumping the ashtray next to them.
Yeah.
And they're like, ooh, out of the way. Nobody notices these boys are
and it cuts to Sister Courtney, and she's just like looking at that Playgirl. And the slumber party girls are having, I will say they are having some pretty rad snacks because they're in the kitchen and there is a bowl full of open Twinkies.
Yeah.
A bowl of Cheetos, and they're talking about ordering pizza.
Yeah.
And instantly I'm starving.
Right. And so they go to order this pizza, and Diane says that she's going to go get wood.
They're going to build a fire.
As
one does, but at a teenage girl's
I never saw them build a fire.
No.
But Diane
I didn't see a fireplace, but maybe it was there and I didn't see it.
I don't even remember seeing the fireplace, but whatever.
I don't know, but I know that, like, that would probably be a rule if your parents left you home alone. Like, don't fuck with the fireplace.
Yeah, don't do that.
You might burn it down. Like, just don't mess with it.
Right.
Anyway, Mr. Contact's here again. This dude's so creepy. I don't like him, and he's sniffing around the girls.
Right.
And thankfully...
She moves a piece of wood to get it out. She goes outside.
Yeah.
And before she goes outside, Trish says, make sure that you close the garage door.
Yes.
Whenever you go out, because you have to go out through the garage. And so she goes out, she gets the wood, and she sees a snail. And she screams, and then all of a sudden, butcher knife chops the snail in half.
And it's Mr. Contact.
And it's Mr. Content.
Mr. C is there.
Creepy neighbor.
Mr. C, you next Tuesday, is there.
Yeah.
With a knife. And
And
why did you come over with a knife? Why are you?
Well, he says he's out in his garden killing snails
with a butcher knife.
Well, that's the only way to get rid of them, is what he said. And
pour some salt on them. They're like slugs. They'll
yeah, and they only come out at night, and that's why he's out at night. And so, anyway,
this guy's creepy.
He's so creepy.
He's so why?
So Diane's like, okay, thanks, and then
Diane should go inside and say, hey, you know your neighbor's out there with a butcher knife killing snails?
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone calls their parents and goes home.
Yeah.
That would be the end of my story.
And so while he's out there killing snails, he goes to see the next one, and as he goes to kill the next snail...
Thankfully, the murderer drills him in the ass and kills him. Drills him, and he's dead.
Yeah, and the boys who are still outside, they're like, did you hear something?
And the boys are drinking beer now? I don't know, were they...
I guess
bring it with them?
Maybe they brought some more. I don't know.
I don't know. But she brings in the firewood, and Trish is looking out the window and asks her if she closed the garage, and Diane doesn't know.
Yeah.
Railroad, Diane.
Yeah.
You were given one job.
And Trish even sees the killer at that point. She looks out, sees him creeping, turns around, says, hey, did you close the garage? Diane's like, and
again, call the police.
And so she goes to look back outside.
Yeah.
After she turned to Diane, she looks back outside, and then there's a bloody Barbie that she had left in the trash.
And she's like, hey, I put that in the trash.
Yeah, stuffed in the window. I don't see how it got there without her hearing anything through the open window, but whatever. These windows must have some magical power.
So they go out, they go back inside, and you see that the murderer's hiding in the garage. So Valerie gets her Playgirl magazine, where it's just, I was like, she's going to grab for her magazine. I paused it again to see what was on the page, because that's who I am as a human. And it's just a dude butt bent over with his dog in the kitchen. I'm like, is this what turned ladies on in the 80s? Just like man butt bent over,
baking in the kitchen.
There's a dog, so that's cute.
I guess.
I said the patriarchy is so unfair. Dudes get millions of magazines and porn sites and boobs and waxed vaginas, and we just get the side view of a dude butt and his dog bent over in the fridge.
Right.
It's not fair.
And then she's like making comments to Courtney about how Courtney used to beat off dudes in 5th grade. 5th grade. 10 years old.
You shouldn't even know what that means
right.
at 10 years old.
Right?
Kids now probably know all kinds of stuff. But like, at the time...
I think it was in 5th grade that we got that little talk with our changing bodies.
My sex talk, other than the talk about periods, I had a friend growing up who would put her naked Barbies, like, swap, like... They'd be 69ing, and she would just bang their plastic bodies together.
That's how you do it.
And she'd say, this is how you do it.
Pretty much.
And I'm like, I don't know if I can keep up with that. Right. I'm like 10, really worried about how I'm going to 69 later. Because I was real worried. So anyways, so the girls are calling their boyfriend, like the girl is calling her boyfriend. Remember, she's calling her boyfriend. Saying like, did you like it when I did that? Like, maybe I'll get better at it or whatever. Like, weird sex talk at the slumber party. And the girls are listening on the other line, and this is how we used to listen to other people's phone calls.
Right.
Like, one person would be on one phone, and then the other person downstairs would pick up the phone, and you can hear them.
Yeah.
And then the lights all go out.
Lights go out. And
Must be a blown fuse.
It's got to be a blown fuse, and so they're like, where's the fuse box?
It's in the
garage.
And did you notice it was the tiniest fuse box on the planet?
It's a little bit.
They got like 3 fuses in this house?
I know.
It's a 2-story house.
My fuse box is huge. But anyway, so they go out to the garage and see that some of the fuses are missing.
Yeah.
But then the boys jump out and they say, ha 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 ha.
We scared you.
We scared you. One of them
love
gets
hearing you
punched.
scream.
Yeah, we love hearing you scream.
Yeah, he gets punched.
He gets punched in the face.
Yeah,
and they were like, wait, we took the fuses as a joke. Can't you take a joke?
Can't you take a joke, girls?
Yeah.
We're just trying to, see you naked and be creepy.
Mm-hmm. And so, cut to Valerie back at her house.
She hears something outside again.
Hears something again. The trash cans are knocked over. And then her little shit sister
scares her with an actual knife.
Jumps out at her with a knife.
What the fuck? I have a little sister, and she would never, because we would immediately be WWE fighting in the yard.
Right, no kidding.
So what's her face's boyfriend? I don't know his name at this point, but she calls him Boo Boo.
Yeah, she calls him Boo Boo.
He comes to see his girlfriend, And she tells him to pull his car into the garage.
Into the garage.
And she'll go in and ask if she could leave for a little while. And I'm like, this ain't your house, lady. You're just having him pull into the garage?
Yeah. Well, actually, they go into the garage and they start doing their little teenage necking and everything.
No, this isn't this yet. Are they necking yet? Because I thought...
Yeah, because that's whenever she goes into... she's like, let's not do it here.
Oh, yeah. So
he's like,
Diane's
come back to my
her
house.
boyfriend. Yeah. And so she has to go into the house, and the girls are chopping up strawberries. They're going to make daiquiris.
They're going to make...
Out of what, children? Out of what?
Right. I guess they're raiding Mom and Dad's liquor cabinet or something.
Are they going to mix it with the beer that they got?
Like
2.5 Michelob Ultras that they got from
Maybe they're doing virgin daiquiris.
I don't know. And where's the pizza? At this point, I'm like, the pizza man has not shown up yet. It's
right,
fine.
Right.
So... Diane's boyfriend wants to fuck in the garage, and he says, come on, baby, you're driving me crazy. And he's like, yeah, let's go back to my place. And so she's like, okay, let me go tell them, and, I'll be back. Like, I need to disappear for a second for what will most likely be the most disappointing wienering of my life.
Yeah.
I just need to go.
Right.
I'm going to take about 5 seconds to have gross teenage sex with this man.
Uh-huh.
And so, inside, Trish is trying to put hot dogs on the dude's black eye.
Yeah, because they don't have any steaks.
They don't
to
have
put
steak,
on there,
but
so.
hot dogs will work, right?
Right.
So she's like, I'm gonna go hang out with my boyfriend. I'll be back in like just a minute. Like, don't be mad, girl. I'll be back.
And Trish is like, you don't need my permission.
You don't need my permission, but also it's kind of shitty of you to leave my slumber party.
To leave a party, but whatever.
Yeah. So she goes back out to the garage.
And guess what?
Gets in the car.
Boyfriend has been decapitated.
His head literally falls off.
Rolls right off. With a drill? Like, that would have taken some time.
Maybe she was in there for a minute. Maybe she had to poop. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
She's in the house
Just,
for a minute.
Movie magic.
Up, probably, But she's screaming and they don't hear her because they're making daiquiris.
Right. And she's honking the horn. And
the murderer breaks the car door and then drills her too.
He corners her. She tries to run away, but he corners her in the garage, and she's
drilled.
Slowly drilled.
She got drilled, but not the way she wanted to be drilled.
Right.
Ayo.
Right. This guy's a professional.
He's a professional driller. He's the Dirk Diggler of drilling. So Val and Courtney hear honking and screaming, but they don't worry about it because guess what? They weren't invited to that party anyway. So
yeah. So
if you're getting murdered, that's on you, man.
Courtney is just dying to crash this party. She wants to go so
little sister
bad.
energy. She wants to crash this party so bad.
Right.
And at the slumber party, the most watery daiquiris are being like, they ain't got no ice, no daiquiris. This is just juice.
Mm-hmm.
They just made juice, and they're being passed out. And the girls say that they don't appreciate the stunt with the doll.
Mm-hmm.
And the boys say, "What doll?"
Yeah, they don't know what's going on.
They don't know what's going on.
They don't know what's talking
and
about.
then the pizza delivery guy knocks on the door. He's like, "Hey, pizza!" And they say, "What's the damage?" And the voice says, 6 so far.
That's a cheap pizza. It's like a Little Caesars.
I think he's making a joke about how many people he's killed.
Oh,
6
maybe,
so far.
maybe. And meanwhile, while the boys are paying for the pizza, the girls call Coach because they are talking about sports and they were trying to get some sports info from Coach. And so Coach is on the phone with them. And so the boys go open the door to pay the pizza man.
And the pizza guy is dead, y'all.
He's dead.
His eyes have been drilled out.
They've been drilled out. He has no eyes and he's dead. And so everyone's screaming.
He is holding the pizza, though. So
he's still holding the pizza, so...
He deserves a raise if he were not dead.
You better tip him well.
Tip him well. They're like, we feel probably going to keep that tip, though.
Yeah.
Free pizza!
Yeah.
And
they're screaming, and
they drag the dead body into the house.
They drag the dead... Well, I mean...
I wouldn't have.
I would have just...
He's dead. I would just left him there, probably.
Right. And so the line goes dead on Coach, and Coach, all she heard was screaming
or whatever.
And then the line went dead.
The wire was cut by the murderer.
Right. The wire was cut by the murderer.
So they had what we now call a landline.
Yes. This is a landline. And
so Coach calls Valerie and Courtney and is like, hey, can you guys go check on the girls because they were screaming? It's probably fine, but like, maybe I'll drive over.
And even Valerie's like, yeah, we heard that too, but I don't feel comfortable going over there. And Coach is like, and that's understandable.
Courtney offers to go, though.
Yeah, Courtney offers to go.
Because she just got her hair done with a bunch of flowers and shit, and her sister put in her hair.
Yeah, because they're doing makeovers.
She's got to go flaunt her...
Right.
delicious new flower hairstyle.
Right. And so, yeah, but Coach is like, yeah, you guys stay home. I'll go over and check.
So at the party, they close all the curtains and lock all the doors, and the boys say that they should run to Valerie's to call the police. Mm-hmm. Like, we need to go to the neighbors. We need to
let's split up.
Let's split up, which is never a good idea.
Never, always stay together, but they say let's split up. One of them is going to go to creepy neighbor's house. The other one's going to go to Valerie's.
This is where I know his name. Jeff, supposed to go to Mr. Content's house. And the other guy is going to run to Valerie's.
Okay.
So they're going to like...
Neil is the other guy.
Yeah. They're going to split. They're going to run.
Right.
Jeff runs through the garage and sees dead Diane. Sorry, Diane.
Yeah, she falls out of the rafters.
The murderer drills him from behind. Insert joke here.
Right.
And other dude runs to Valerie's house and he's banging on the door and Courtney's in a room on the phone, so...
She didn't hear anything. Valerie's watching a movie.
I said, but can we take a minute to talk about the huge fucking goose lamp that Courtney has by her bed?
I'm going to have to go back and look now. I didn't look.
A goose lamp! This thing is probably... Okay, so like, this is a visual medium. So like, this is the table. This thing is like the size of a toddler. A goose?
I'm going to have to put that in.
Why? Yeah, insert goose lamp here.
Insert goose lamp right here.
Yeah, like, a goose lamp?
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. So the murderer is right behind him, and by the time Valerie goes to the door, she doesn't see anything.
Yeah,
because Valerie was sitting there watching a movie or some shit. She didn't want to get up.
It was a horror movie, so it was loud, and so she finally hears the door. She goes to it, but by that time, I guess Neil is his name.
Yeah,
Neil
has been
struggling with
the murderer.
And the murderer grabs the knife that he had.
Yeah.
And is stabbed to death.
Him. So he can use other weapons.
Prefers the drill. Right. Prefers the drill, but now he's got a knife.
And the murderer drags the body into the garage where he's just keeping all the dead bodies in the garage.
Yeah. He's piling them into
He's tidy, if not anything. He's putting them all in the trunk.
In the trunk of that car.
And he's kind of like pissed because he's running out of room.
Yeah. And he's all counting. One, two, three. Yeah, he just counts everything.
He counts all the bodies.
He's stoked about how many bodies.
It's pretty full. But it turns out Jeff got away. Because he turns back, Jeff's gone.
Yeah, Jeff is gone.
Someone help Jeff. He's begging at the door like a dog.
Right.
The murderer catches up with him and drills him.
Yeah. He's alive for like 10 more seconds.
10 more seconds. You think he's going to get away. He is not.
Yeah, and he's getting blood all over the back door trying to get in. And
it's
everywhere.
Val tells Courtney that the phone's for her, but she doesn't answer it. And it turns out she's run across the street to go to the party. She can see her from the window.
Yeah, of course.
And Val's like, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
And so she follows Courtney to the party and knocks on the front door. And nobody's answering because they're all like cowering and hiding because,
But is the murderer going to knock on the door again?
Right.
And sound like your friend from school?
Right. And you're going to leave your friend from school out there with the killer.
Val's ringing the doorbell, knocks, but Jackie says we have to let her in. But she's too nice because as soon as she opens the door, Jackie gets a drill to the neck.
Yeah. When they finally answer the door, it's Killer Man.
And it was funny when we were watching this, like, he's working from home, so he's not really paying attention to the movie, and I'm watching it, and I had just made a comment that, like, oh my gosh, the one person of color in this movie might make it to the end. And then she answers the door and gets drilled in the neck. Jackie is a beautiful black woman, and she got drilled in the neck.
Slashed across.
Slashed in the neck with a drill.
This drill is just so
pointy?
efficient. I don't know. I've done several home improvement projects, and I've hit myself with a drill bit before, and it takes a lot to do that.
It's
much
more like
damage.
like a burn. It's not like carpet burn.
Yeah,
it's not like
a little Band-Aid and you're okay.
Right.
But
anyway. So Val and Courtney meet back up in the back of the house, and Val says, let's check the front like one more time, and then we'll go home or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the front door is open.
Yeah.
And Valerie goes inside.
Right.
She's calling out for Trish and doesn't find her. So she goes out and searches for Courtney because now Courtney's missing again because this girl, they can't stay together.
Just stay home. Jeez.
And she's probably trying to make some stupid joke or something like, you're too young for this. You need to go home.
Right.
And it's at that point in the movie where I stop feeling bad for Trish because when a murderer shows up to your house, close and lock all the windows, Patricia.
Right.
Because she and her friend are hiding upstairs.
They barricade themselves in the bedroom.
But the window's open.
But they left the window open.
And they are throwing... The the murderer just climbs on through the window.
Just comes in through the window behind them silently. This guy is so
slow
quiet.
motion throwing things at him.
And
It's like there's a gas leak in this room. They're
right.
so tired.
And they're trying to get this dresser out of the way of the door. They can't.
And then Trish gives him the slowest bat to the dome I've ever seen in my life. She's like, boom. Hits him in the head with a bat.
He falls momentarily.
It's not hard enough because he gets up a minute later.
He gets up
and
like,
stabs
a minute
the
later.
friend. Oh, no, friend.
Yeah.
Friend's dead. I don't remember her name. The blonde
what was
one
her name?
With the bangs.
Kim, I think.
Kim's dead.
Kim gets it with the knife.
But Trish gets away.
But Trish pulls out the barricade just in time, and she's like, "See ya!"
She could have jumped out the fucking window. Window was open. Window was open.
Right.
So Val's like wandering around the yard looking for his sister. Meanwhile, the killer's in the house looking for Trish. And he looks at himself in the mirror. And this is the bluest bathroom.
I know.
The bluest bathroom. The paint in this bathroom is, I can't even think, it's blue.
Yeah.
And he pulls back the shower curtain, because you see the shower curtain behind him. He pulls back, and it's just a million underwears.
Right.
On a hanger.
Right. Yeah.
Delicates cannot be thrown in the dryer.
He thought it was her, but no.
It's just a bunch of underwear that I'm sure Mr. Content has, like, pockets full of.
Right.
So Val finds Courtney laid up in the yard, but she's playing a prank.
Yeah, why is she...
Wrong timing, bitch! Yeah. This is not the time!
Yeah. And she's like...
She's laying there. I got you.
Got you. I'm not dead.
Yeah, I'm not dead.
And
just
so,
kidding.
Meanwhile, Trish has been hiding in a garment bag.
She's been hiding in a garment bag. How did she zip that up by herself?
I don't know, but...
The zipper only has... It's only on one side. There's
I don't know.
Like two zips.
Maybe it was... I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever. So, yeah, she comes out of it.
And so Valerie and Courtney, at this point, though, they're still like, there's something still going on in this house. Let's poke around some more.
Yeah, so they decide to go into the house, and Courtney wants to raid the fridge before they leave.
Mm-hmm. She wants a beer.
Maybe they have beer. And she's not looking while she's opening the fridge. And
that's where
Kim's dead body is all in the fridge.
So they don't notice that she's in there
until... And they close the door and open the door. It is a bit. It's a hilarious
bit of a bit.
They open and close, and she's like, oh, and then back in.
And then back in. And then back in. Until she finally opens it the final time.
And they see, and she sees her and she screams, ah! I said, I guess the killer ran out of trunk space.
I guess so.
Gotta find a new hiding place. So they finally see the dead friend and they run. And
they go to hide.
The clock chimes for literal ever on the clock, and we see Courtney peering out from under the couch.
She goes under the couch. I think that Valerie goes into the basement.
She goes into the basement.
Under the stairs.
And the killer has dragged away the pizza guy.
Yeah.
And he throws him
into the basement with Valerie.
And the killer lays on the floor.
And covers himself up
with the blanket that they threw over the pizza guy. Yeah. And he's just going to wait. He's a patient man.
He's a patient man.
And Trish comes out of the closet, and then the coach comes into the house, and she's going to look under the blanket.
Yeah, she goes to see that there's somebody under the blanket. She goes to look, and guess who pops up?
Chases her with a drill, but she got a fire poker.
She's not taking this.
She's not taking this shit. She's a grown woman. She's not a teenager.
Yeah, so she grabs the fireplace.
She came to play.
Fireplace poker.
And
she's fighting with him.
And Val gets a saw in the basement, and she's so excited. She's got this
she's got a power saw.
Giant power saw. But she runs up the stairs, and gets yanked by the cord.
The cord's not long enough to get out of the basement with, so she drops that.
And I was like watching this, and I was like, so help me God, if she's able to kill someone with this freaking saw
with no
that
power
has a cord, I'm gonna be very mad. But then she's like, ah, shit.
She gets pulled back and
so meanwhile the coach and the murderer are toe to toe, and she hits him with a very floppy fire poker.
It's rubber. You can see that it's rubber.
Floppy. And then Trish comes out with the knife and stabs him in slow motion, and he screams like a pirate. He's like, yeah. And so the murderer pops up and drills the coach in the torso, and her shirt is torn, but there's no wound. But that's okay. But it tore her shirt.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, what a bummer. And so,
so Valerie grabs the machete.
Valerie finds a machete. That's where we're at. Yeah.
I don't know where the machete came from.
It was down in the basement. It was. She finds it on the wall, and she.
That's
takes it off
right,
the wall.
because she can't bring the drill. So she grabbed the machete.
She grabs the machete.
And I said, "Girl, why didn't you grab that to begin with?"
Yeah, you didn't see that.
Why would you grab something that has to be plugged in? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
The murderer calls her pretty, which is icky.
Yeah, he says,
and says you're all so pretty.
You're all very pretty,
and I love you.
I love you.
Ick.
And then he says,
Ick.
it takes a lot of love for a person to do this. You know you want it.
You know you want it.
You love it.
I'm
Yes.
done. I'm deceased at this point. You guys, this is disgusting.
It's just disgusting.
And you know, like, a woman wrote this, so she's heard that before.
Yeah, this is...
We've all heard this
I've heard
before.
that at a bar. Let me buy you a drink. No.
You know you want it.
You know you want it.
You know you want it. Drunk guys, I love you.
I love you.
You're so pretty.
So she's...
Yeah,
Trish
Dan said, when he said, you know you want it, my boyfriend said he's on his computer with his back to the screen, like, kind of listening, and he goes, oh, we don't do that anymore. That's icky. We don't say that anymore.
So Trish is begging for her life.
Yes.
And, but badass Valerie...
Valerie, man.
comes in swinging
She
that
is
machete.
final girl. She is final girl.
Yeah, and she chases him out the back door to the pool, and she chops the drill bit. Which the drill bit is like this one of those long ass ones.
Yeah, but it's made out of plastic.
But it's made out
so,
of plastic, apparently. So she chops it in half with the machete.
Yeah.
Which
I said, oh, it's a drill circumcision.
yeah. Maybe this was like
Mazel
symbolic.
tov.
Yeah, mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Maybe this was symbolic of her taking away his power.
His power.
Like the drill.
His power.
His drill is his wiener.
His ween power.
And she chopped it in half.
chopped his ween power off.
Chopped his ween power in half.
You know you want it.
And then she also slashes him across the abdomen.
slaps
And,
him in the
and
torso.
before that, she chops off his hand.
Chops off his hand.
And he just stands there and takes
still
it.
coming at her.
He's still coming at her. So he falls
handless and dickless, just coming right after her.
Right? Falls into the pool.
He falls in the pool, and there's so much blood in the pool.
Yeah, it immediately turns red.
Her parents are going to need the number for a great pool cleaning service.
Right,
because
right. I would hope that they're just happy that she wasn't murdered by a psychopathic killer, but
I mean, maybe, but I would also probably be pretty disappointed in the fact that they're gonna find that
Now
Maui,
there's-
they're
yeah.
gonna find that Maui Wowie in the living room.
she's grounded.
She's grounded for sure.
So, but they're never actually dead.
Yep.
So he crawls out of the pool again,
Bloody stump and all.
bloody stump and all. He
I don't
crawls
know how you
after
climb
them.
out with one. Like, I can't get out of a pool
Yeah,
with one hand.
yeah. Courtney has joined Valerie at this point,
And
so he
they're
attacks both
hugging,
of them.
Yeah. But Trish comes out with her knife, and Valerie literally impales him.
Yeah,
Because she's got the knife, and he's like, ah!
yeah. Trish comes out and stabs him, and it
Yeah.
distracts him just long enough to where whenever he lunges back to Valerie, he impales himself on her.
Yeah.
On her machete, and he's run through, and that's what does it.
And that's what you get.
Yeah,
That's what you get.
that's what you get.
When you mess with mean teenage girls at a slumber party,
Yeah.
that's what you get, son.
Yeah, and so my question at the end of all of this, because that's where it ends,
The end.
The
Credits.
end.
Roll credits.
Roll credits. Where was creepy neighbor whenever they needed him?
Dead.
He didn't hear the screaming outside.
No, he was
He
dead.
didn't. Oh, that's right. He was dead. See, I already forgot.
Still mad at the neighbor. He died half an hour ago.
He died half an hour ago, and I completely forgot. That's how insignificant.
Why didn't they run
he
to
was.
his house though?
Well, wasn't it Jeff that was trying to get to his house when he was cut off in the
I'm
garage?
saying the minute something goes weird, you run to his house or you run to Valerie's house.
Yeah.
You get out of the house.
They tried to. Well, I don't know. Why did the
They
girls
didn't try
stay?
to. They just stayed.
The boys went and tried.
They're like,
because-
we're women, so let's be sitting ducks.
right.
We're good at that.
Let's send the menfolk out.
Let's send the menfolk out,
And then we'll just
sit here and wait to get murdered. Like a
And
bunch of
so-
idiots.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of 80-boobed titty.
Right.
Titties.
Idiots. That's what we're gonna call these girls.
Idiots!
Idiots.
Shit, why did I think of that like an hour ago? God damn it.
Better late than never.
Better late than never. Just overdub it. Every time we say girl, just like do titiots.
Titties.
Titiots.
So some trivia about this movie.
Trivia. Go for it.
We got let me start that again. Some trivia about
Are you
this
okay?
movie.
Are you having a stroke?
Yeah, I am.
We can pause.
I am having a stroke. It was filmed in 3 weeks, so it was a very quick filming. And it was supposed to actually be a parody.
Yeah, it was
of
supposed to be a
slasher.
comedy.
Yeah, but the producers were like,
Which explains the whole fridge thing with the opening and closing of the
they
fridge.
filmed it like a regular slasher movie, but there was a lot of like unintended humor in it.
Yeah.
And so, because I didn't know if that was supposed to be a bit or if it wasn't or anything, but that's why that was already written into the screenplay as a parody. And I had mentioned this before, Amy Holden
Which I feel
Jones.
like is like way before its time to do things like that, because like Scary Movie didn't come out for like years later.
Yeah, it was another decade or so before.
I mean, it was a long
And so the director, Amy Holden Jones, was kind of salty because she was called a hypocrite for having so much exploitation in this film. And they're like, nobody goes after male directors for doing this, so I'm just doing what you guys are telling me to do.
Yeah.
And the composer, it was her brother, and I mentioned this earlier too, he did the whole score on a small Casio keyboard synthesizer,
which just proves if he wanted to, he would. Yeah,
exactly. The actor that auditioned for Killer Man actually auditioned for the role of Creepy Neighbor. And they were like, you know what? You'd be better as the Killer Man.
They're like, you're creepy, but you're not creepy enough. And so we're going to make you the murderer in the movie.
Yeah.
We need someone creepier to be the neighbor.
Right. And also, I learned that Roger Corman, who also produced Chopping Mall, he was an uncredited executive producer for this. And he was the one that kept coming in and adding nude scenes into the screenplay, and the girls hated it because every time he'd show up, he'd hand them a new script.
They knew they'd have to get undressed,
and they knew that they were going to have to get undressed.
That's so shitty.
So I
don't approve of that. Roger Corman, is he still alive?
Oh, I don't know.
It's you.
I don't know. They all need to be thrown in prison, probably.
Probably. They're all Weinstein-y.
Yeah,
probably.
they all are.
Weinsteins.
So, at any rate, there we go.
We did it. We covered it.
Yep. And there's my dog in the background losing her shit right now.
So we will catch you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell all your friends about us, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.